podcast. My name's Jeff. I'm joined as always by Paul over there.
Hello.
How are you today?
Yes, I'm very good, very chipper. Thank you, Mr. Jeff.
Good. And we've got a very special guest with us today, a face that you might recognise from a past episode of Who Corner to Corner, but not a face that we haven't seen in a while due to our work outside of the podcast, with Mr. Pete Levy, who was producer on some of Doctor Who Flux and VFX producer on the previous seasons of Jodie's Doctor Who, and he was also on Holby as well, and you've been working on something else quite exciting at the moment, haven't you?
I have. Hi Jeff, hi Paul, good to see you both again. You're both looking younger than when I saw you last.
I behave.
It's the soft focus effect on Riverside.
That's what it is. Screen filters.
It was well, I was on Casualty actually, Jeff.
Oh, sorry, I get them confused.
He always gets it wrong.
Yeah.
No, well, Casualty is set in the fictional location of Holby, so you're sort of right as well.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's really exciting too. The BBC have announced the next series of Walking with Dinosaurs 2025, and that's been my job for the last year and a half, working on that. So very exciting.
Yeah, yes, so you've been on that for a little while now, haven't you? And we've had to keep that secret. And if anyone saw the Horsham Film Festival video that I did recently, because Pete's come back this year to be a judge on it again, we had Rebecca Moon, one of our fellow judges, talking about Pete, and I had to fuzz out her saying "Walking with Dinosaurs" stuff, which was quite good fun. So when the news came out the other day, I texted you and said, "Can I uncense that now?" I should have done a prepared version, ready for that. Yeah, and there's been quite a good response to that news, isn't there? I've seen quite a lot of people excited about the show coming back again.
Oh, superb response. I mean, we've genuinely been blown away. I mean, obviously, I'm still under NDA and can't give anything away with regards to the content, but it's Walking with Dinosaurs, so it's a follow-on from what was originally, an amazingly groundbreaking series. The visual effects were stunning, and in no small part due to a visual effects genius called Mike Milne, who we sadly lost a very short time ago, so condolences to Mike's family and friends. But Mike was a visionary with regards to visual effects across film and television, and brought Walking with Dinosaurs to our screens for the first time, and continued to push the boundaries of visual effects. So the industry and television viewers and fans of dinosaurs alike all owe a big vote of thanks to Mike and his presence in our genre will be greatly missed. So, but it's exciting to carry on the legacy that he and others started. So yeah, no, super exciting. Good,
yeah. Looking forward to seeing more from it. So we'll probably talk about that again in a little bit, but we're going to do a commentary over Once Upon Time from series 13 of Doctor Who, which is one of the ones that you were producing. So people listening or watching, if you'd like to load up the episode when we count down from 3, we're going to hit play. You can do the same, and then you can watch along as we chat our way through it. So
in real time,
both poised to hit play?
Yes, my finger is hovering over the triangle.
Okay. 3. I'm going to build the tension. 2. I was going to do 2.5.
Come on, get on with it.
Oh, I have now. All right. 3, 2, 1.
We're on. So we got a recap of the previously on the Flux. It's very exciting, isn't it? I mean, honestly, look at this stuff. This is brilliant.
Even now watching it, it looks incredible. So, Pete, for anyone who's not familiar, would you like to remind us what episodes you were involved in?
Yes, I was involved with episodes 3, 5, and 6.
So, the Vanquishers, and what was the other episode called? That has completely gone out of my head.
I feel like it's Chris Chibnall sent you to just check, see whether I was.
Yeah.
Was it Survivors of
the Flux and the Vanquishers?
Yeah, and obviously this one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, this was it's really bizarre just watching it again. I said to you fellas earlier on. I mean, I I haven't watched this episode since it went out, and I sort of wanted to join you guys and watch this afresh, as if I was seeing it for the first time. And it's sort of all coming back. I remember the first scenes that we shot. I remember where we were, who I was with, how we all felt. I remember this. Shooting this, and how excited we were for this as well. And we had, the amazing, my former amazing colleagues at Dino, who were there helping out with the visual effects. I mean, I have to say, this actor was amazing from the moment that she came into the studio. She was amazing. Thadia was just full of energy and just jumped into it. And that shot of going from day to night, that was primarily in camera,
So I always wondered how that was done. So how was that shot achieved?
Yeah, massive crane lights. The light was sort of. Oh, what a great job they did there. Massive crane lights and just counting it in, and then with some visual effects. I mean, yeah, and also I think the energy that Thadia brought to the role was.
Oh, she's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, this is
brilliant. I mean, not only is she a brilliant actor, but she's a brilliant person as well. And just she and Jodie got on extremely well. And I mean, Jodie's a fan and supporter of any sort of actors that she's sharing the screen with. Yeah. But yeah, it was nice.
I mean, this is really something, actually, because I think in the continuity of the Flux, this was the first time we'd seen Bel's character, so we had no idea who she is. And aside from the previously, this is a really cold open, so we're like as viewers, well, who is she and everything else? What does she have to do with the whole Flux? And for her to carry those first few minutes of the show so strongly and powerfully she does, I think, she is fantastic. There's no doubt about it. I think everyone online was like, we need more of Bel. She's got to be here to stay.
Really popular. Yeah. And I love that, we're getting to see, literally the survivors of it and what that sort of.
There he is, producer Pete Levy. Look at that in the credits. And of course, director Az Salim as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, we've chatted to Az, haven't we?
Oh, is that the director? I wondered who that fellow was standing by the monitor. Your mum refill his coffee cup. No.
He found something for you to do, did he, Pete?
Yeah, apparently so. Yes. I don't know whether I might have just pressed play a little bit ahead of you. What are you guys seeing at the moment?
I've got Jodie falling through the time vortex bit.
And again, it just goes to show. I mean, Jodie's energy, in creating that movement and the believability of all of this. Perfect. The three of them, Mandip, John, and Jodie. I mean, they are an absolute dream trio of characters to work with.
Oh yeah, the angels here. I just wanted to go back to that shot with the Daleks from the cold open where Bel is running around. That shot there's a lot of very impressive VFX shots in Flux, and that shot, the camera's moving, the Daleks are trundling through, and then they're passing behind tree branches, which anyone who's done masking before would know can be a bit of a drag. So, the effects feel quite, it's sort of,
they're big, cinematic.
They are big stuff, and having the camera moving like that, was that the kind of the goal with it, Pete, to, push it and be as immersive as possible with it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the beauty of working with someone like Chris is that he gets visual effects. He gets it, and I think that he always allows that team approach. So let's get the visual effects suppliers. Let's get hair and makeup. Let's get costume. Let's get prosthetics. Let's get all of the team in the room and go, this is the story I want to tell.
Yeah.
Now give me your bits of magic and tell me how we're going to and collaborate and work together. And I think that's the first time I'd seen that done properly. And also with the special effects guys as well, real SFX, with regards to, what can they bring? What can we work with to enhance their stuff? So it's Chris going, I'm not going to write the story to your limitations.
Yeah.
To write the story I see.
Yeah.
And then I want you to bring that to life. So, I mean, obviously, visual effects artists and VFX supervisors, I've worked with Sheila and with Mike when I was at DNEG, and they're both brilliant, and they're both, very collaborative at Liverpool Museum. And sorry, I was sideswiped by what a brilliant combination these two were.
Yeah,
they were fantastic, weren't they? Really, really good.
I love John in this. He's so good.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask Pete about producing in a minute, and particularly with an episode like this. So was this the first one that you did for the show?
The first one that I produced. Did we do them in order? Yes, I think we did. I mean, this is a great. If anyone's in Liverpool or has a chance to visit Liverpool, then visit this church. I mean, it's got a beautiful. I mean, it was bombed out during the Second World War, and it stands in testament to the endeavours of the community, and it's a really moving place to be inside. So yes, sorry, Jeff. I think this was the first one that I did.
So how did you? And my other question was, how was the exterior Atropos scenes done? But we'll come back to that. So when you got the script for this episode, what did you think? Because I remember Ray Holman told us he read it and was like, "What?"
Yeah, it's really few times.
Yeah, read it again to kind of figure it out and see what was happening within it. And that's when he told us he already had the dark version of Jodie's coat that he'd sort of somewhat naughtily made, and then was like, "Oh, Chris, I've got just the thing for this." So it worked out.
Yeah. Ray and Simon and his team, they are geniuses at what they do, and they're so passionate. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They are so passionate. What did I think? The first time I read it, I thought, "Oh, I don't understand. I need to go back." I need to go back and reread it. And Az and I got our heads together, and then we were talking to Jodie about it, and we were talking to Chris and Nikki Wilson, who was our our series producer and eventually exec producer. Matt Strevens, our other exec producer.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that we understood the whole story. And bearing in mind, this is a significant part.
Yeah.
This was shot during COVID.
Yeah,
I know. It's incredible, isn't it?
Amazing.
It really is.
And yeah, I mean, Liverpool was. I mean, I felt. Oh, sorry, I've got.
Oh,
the Satsumas.
I love this because
it's fantastic.
I'm stood at the monitor with Az, and Jodie does this scene. For no other reason than that this is how we work. She reads this scene 5 or 6 times.
Yeah. And
her comedy timing is different by a millimeter every single read through. And I'm going to, and I can't help it, but she's really making love, genuinely making love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really funny. I love it. Sorry, I can't remember what was your question. I'm liking this. I might have to go back and watch this again.
It's great. It's really great. Do you know what I mean? Just talking about, because I think we were talking about working through the complexities of the script and make sure that we were telling the story and you were getting your heads together with Az and the guides. But I think actually, there are so many variables in this, because obviously the story itself has to be there and it has to be strong. It has to be within the script. But because it's kind of so fragmented, it has to, it's popping around all over the place. We're changing time of day, we're changing location, we're even changing people's faces. Yeah. And yet within that, there has to be a clarity. So a lot of that is going to come from the visual aspect of the storytelling, isn't it? As much as the script.
Yeah,
so that must have been a challenge.
Yeah, and also I think the thing to bear in mind is that more importantly, but myself, we need to know this story as close as we possibly can.
Yeah.
Because this is where members of the cast could potentially go, Pete, why am I saying this? What has happened that I've been party to? And so I think we've got to understand all of that. And as has got to be, I mean, that is a question that as gets asked as the director, what's going to come next that we haven't found? Because shooting sequences out of order, then obviously that becomes a significant issue. But yeah, I mean, massive credit to Chris, Nikki, and Matt for adapting and rolling with the punches with regards to the limitations that were put on us for shooting during COVID. I mean, we were shooting in Liverpool. We were shooting with John Bishop, who is the Emperor of Liverpool. And we couldn't mix. We were keeping the regulatory distance away from each other, and that big cast and crew to move around. But huge respect for everyone. Our AD team, everyone, the set team, the costume, the makeup team, everybody trying to do their job and keep us all safe and abide by all the rules and regulations. But
whenever we talk about Flux, we always, like for us, we think it's incredible, but the fact that it was made at all is even more incredible, and the lengths that you all went through and the difficulties to do it, and Chris to kind of scrap all the plans for the series and write this and do it within bubbles of cast and stuff like that is it's phenomenal, I think. And it's easy to look at it all and go, that's great, I'm loving this, it's brilliant, but actually I bet there was so much difficulty involved in doing all of it, just to make it happen, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was, but I think that and I know, as this sounds cliche, it's difficult to say this without it sounding like a cliche, but it's a real, and I've said this before, working on Doctor Who, it's a proper family unit. When we all saw each other, there was laughter and tears, in equal measures when we all saw each other back for the first time, because it felt that sense of we're sort of coming back to normality, and we all want to give each other a hug, and we all want, because we've missed each other. But also, huge respect to the Welsh government at the time, because they are aware of the impact of film and television on economy, and we knew that people needed a sense of escape.
People's well-being as well. Just have something they can lose themselves in, while it's all kicking off.
Yeah. So no, it was fun. I mean, she's good, isn't she?
She's brilliant. Yeah, I love those shots of Jodie, sort of the holograph shots where she's dangling with her legs out. I know a couple of minutes ago now.
Exactly. And Johnny Mathers. I mean, have you spoken?
We did. We love Johnny.
Yeah.
He's an absolute superstar.
He really is. I mean, I'd like to see more of him on screen, because he's got a real presence.
He certainly does. Yeah. And a cracking good sense of humour. It's a shame he's not talking in any of the Flux episodes because when we got him on, we couldn't show him up. He's brilliant.
He is superb. He's a very talented man. So
he really is.
So credit.
Yeah, lots of respect to Johnny.
Yeah.
So we spoke to Jo Martin recently, and she is also fantastic, isn't she? Like,
she's fabulous.
Both came away feeling like we'd injected, pure sort of joy and optimism into ourselves. So for these scenes here, was she on set or was she green screened in there? How did all of that work?
Jo was in. Jo was in. How much do you think the guys enjoyed getting into these costumes? That
I'm gonna hazard a guess and say a lot. Did they hate it?
I mean, didn't Ray and the team do a fabulous,
fantastic job? Yeah, I mean, look at them. They look solid. Do you know what I mean?
I also like that the guns look a little bit Sonic Screwdriver as well. With the crystalline, someone pointed that out online, and then I was like, oh yeah, they do. There's elements of Jodie's there. So the scenes outside the temple here, how did you do all of that? Was there some green screen involved and sets?
Don't want to give too many secrets away, Jeff. But a mix of it's a combination of all the tricks that we had with those, outside where we could, well, because we love being outside, and finding locations that looked. This was in the studio. I mean, how fabulous is that? And this is a true. Oh, Steve, what I mean. Again, a funny man, very funny man, and
Steve Pemberton.
Yeah, Steve. Not Steve Pemberton, Paul. It's Steve.
Oh no! Hold on, I'll tell you exactly who it is.
Steve Oram. So, but
yes, Steve Oram. I beg your pardon. My apologies.
He's a very funny man. But the interplay between these two, and actually, it's a true story. The Liverpool Caves and Steve's.
I looked it up after all this. It's quite fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, based on true stories. I mean, it's incredible. Yeah, this is really funny. I mean, the thing is John is naturally, well, obviously he's a comedian. I mean, he's a naturally funny man.
Yeah.
So you put the two of them together.
So I was just trying to look at what's the name of the three, or the time ladies.
Mary.
Yeah.
Mary. Yeah.
So interestingly, I'm working on a documentary at the moment. It's about end of life care, and one of the ladies, actually you might have met them at the film festival, Luna and Annalise from Whistle Stop Arts. So they're behind this, and part of the project has been an art installation. And Luna, or both Annalise, created displays for it, and Luna's was based off the Maury painting. And the three ladies in charge of time and everything. Yeah. And she was talking about that when we were filming her interview, and I thought, I recognised that name. And I thought, it's from Once Upon a Time. And I thought, Chris must have known about it. And I said to Luna, I showed her this, I looked it up and I showed her the Wikipedia thing, so here's Doctor Who and the Maury. Luna's not really into sci-fi, and she looked at it and was like... That's nice. And then I had to explain it to her. I was like, I'm not being weird, just showing you Doctor Who stuff. It's because your thing is based upon, the painting that you saw at a gallery and everything. And she was like, oh, I thought you were being weirder than normal. So that was quite interesting to find out, where, that inspiration would have
reaches out
come from. Yeah.
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 I mean, it does. I mean, I think the inspiration, we all get our inspiration from different things, don't we? It could be pop of music that we've overheard on an ad, or a game we're playing, or some But isn't this brilliant? I mean, D-Neg did such a brilliant job.
Yeah, that shot there of
I'm
Bell
kind of getting lost in the episode.
Past the wrecked planet is incredible.
Yeah.
Like all this, like the
Legions
grading
of
work,
Cybermen.
Yeah.
Changing the tree colour, the camera moving there with all that CG stuff going on. It's amazing.
I mean, there's a lot of work. There's a lot of work involved. But and so Thaddeus got to, you've got to be, you've got to be, and this is Az's job all the time, for you look down and this is what you see, and this is your emotion, and that whole thing with talking to her baby. I mean, it's just like you believe it. I'm sat with monitors around me, and I'm believing that she's actually talking to an unborn child. It's brilliant.
Do you think or have you met some actors who find working with green screen elements and stuff and CG easier than others? And, does some need does it take more for them to kind of get to that point with it? Because I imagine it's tricky.
Yeah, I think it's like everything else though, Jeff. I think it's experience. I mean, Jodie's used to working with green screen with this, so can get it. Having said that, Thaddeus hasn't got loads of experience, or as much as Jodie, but she got it straight away.
Got it.
My days.
Yes. Mr. Parkinson, yeah.
There he is.
Grand Serpent. What an absolute joy and honour it was working with this man.
Do you know, we must chase up with him for the podcast, because his agent came back and said he's up for it, and then it sort of fizzled a little bit. And
we need to get him on, Jeff.
Yeah.
He's so... The thing that I like about Craig is that he can play such a wide range of characters. I think one of Craig's fortes is comedy. He's really funny, and he does comedy really well.
Yeah.
But I told him this recently. There was when we did a rehearsal for this scene and has got them to run their lines. And there's, shall we say, an experienced and long in the tooth member of the crew, and we all go, we're all quiet and we're watching, and then so on paper it's Craig's line is, "Oh, you think you understand, do you?" And he's walking away, and he goes, "Oh, you think you understand, do you?" And he doesn't turn around, and he leaves it a little bit too long, and then he turns around. And this member of the crew just went, I'll paraphrase. He went, good grief, he's really good. We went, yeah, he is. I mean, he's an absolute dream to work with.
Yeah, he's impressive. I mean, I'd seen him obviously on Line of Duty, before this, and he's just so evil in that, and just nasty.
You buy it, and I think obviously
you do.
Chris had worked together in Broadchurch. I saw Craig in something. He's in. I know I can't because people might not have seen it yet. He's in. Find out what other stuff he's in, because he's in some brilliant
other stuff.
This was actually this was the first scene that we shot.
Was it?
With Bav. She was one of our first guests.
We love Bav.
And the story behind that is totally random. So I was in London a few years ago filming, presenting show reels, and we were in Soho trying to do vox pops and just picking people off the street. And the people I was working with, they were going up and asking people. And Sally Gray, who used to do big breakfast, 50-50 kids game show and stuff.
Yeah,
she's my friend who runs the presenting thing. She came over and goes, "Oh, we've got Bavnisha here. She's gonna do a vox pop, and she's in Doctor Who." And I was like, "Oh, and we got chatting, and it was just a total fluke to bump into her on the street, and then we connected on LinkedIn and chatted and blah blah blah, and that's how it led to.
Absolutely,
brilliant.
The energy she's got is just
Also really positive and uplifting as well. It would have been great to see more of Sonia in the show, but
it's great that she's in here. We got angels, weeping angels back
in. That game.
Oh my goodness, this episode just packs so much stuff in, doesn't it?
It really does. And this does. Huge credit to to the design team as well to come up with these. I mean, it's brilliant.
Getting angels into a video game, one of the things I love about the Weeping Angels. I mean, Chris Edwards, didn't he? That he loves writing them, and I think part of that is thinking of different ways that we can introduce them into the story. So we might have seen previously that they can be within a TV screen. The image of an angel is an angel. So it's Chris who kind of thinks, okay, let's take that and then push it one stage further. They're in a video game. They come out of the video game. They're in a fire. They come out of the fire.
Exactly. Next episode, we get fire version.
Yeah.
This bits here with the three Moray reminds me of the kind of visual of the Watcher that you get in Marvel comics, where the giant bald guy with a big collar and he's looming over everything, to kind of watch and record important moments in history. And you see him in What If as well, the series as well.
Yeah.
This nice, this throne with old Swarm.
Old Swarm, and that set is so good as well.
It's beautiful. I have to say, I mean, the actors behind the makeup, the time it takes to apply that.
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
And then have to stay in that, and then have to act behind that.
Be in character.
I mean, it's superb. I mean, they did such a brilliant job.
And the design on both versions of Swarm and Azure are just amazing. I always love the cracking of Azure's head and the kind of crystals in the face and stuff like that.
The detail, the level of detail that the guys go to just to bring this on the screen it's incredible. It really is. I remember watching some of the extras to the Lord of the Rings DVDs years and years ago, and just marveling at the kind of stuff that the workshops were coming out with, things that wouldn't be seen on TV for like more than on the cinema for more than a second, and yet they spend days working out intricate details, and it's kind of like we get that now on on stuff like this and TV. It's incredible.
Things, yeah.
I think
we're so fortunate.
I think that line between film and television. I mean, it used to be quite a big divide. The quality.
Yeah.
But I know that with some of that's beautiful. but with a lot of the VFX houses now, so.
They're getting closer, aren't they? Those
they are
boundaries.
Getting closer because a lot of the artists work across them. Who I work with, who was the first VFX supervisor that I worked with on Series 11, had done had worked on Harry Potter, had worked on Baby Driver, had worked on so many Marvel, so many movies. And also the artists that we get to work with, you can take them and put them on Doctor Who, and you get that level of quality.
They bring it with them, I suppose, don't they?
Yeah, and obviously technology changes, but the technology, I mean, the technology could be as good as you like, but it's the vision and the artistry behind it.
Yeah, there's I sometimes say when you go out filming, it doesn't really matter what camera you've got; it's what you're doing with it. You can have the best camera in the world and still get a terrible shot out of it.
You can put me behind the wheel of a McLaren F1 car, and I will put it into the corner.
Still drive it into the wall. Oh dear.
So with these scenes here, Pete, and the kind of Jodie being kind of the fugitive doctor, at that point, did you ever have conversations with Chris and anyone else about more of that history? Because everyone wants to know, where did the fugitive come in the timeline, and what did she get up to, and
No, I don't. Well, I certainly didn't. Whether Az did, I'm not sure. But I mean, the thing is it is on a show like Doctor Who. Chris has spent a very long time working on storylines before we even get to to walk in the front door of the studio again.
Yeah.
And it's and then working with his team as well, and then working with Nikki and Matt, and then going through that. It's almost like we are presented with a fait accompli with regards to that. Make suggestions, and we've got to, there are situations whereby if something happens on location, then we'll have a conversation with Chris. But no, we're gifted with stories that are pretty much informed.
Yeah.
In a way that you wouldn't on dramas, like EastEnders and Casualty and those sort of things, where the producers and directors get a little bit more input in storylining because it's quite quick. But with this one, as I say, Chris and his team have been working on these for some time. And
yes,
also,
I bet,
you've met Chris. You know what I mean. He won't mind me saying this. He is a nerd with regards to Doctor Who. He understands it better than anyone else. And there, you can say, Chris, what happened to this guy? Glad you asked, because in fact, and he knows the detail, and that's what's so clever about the way he constructs these stories. So far be it from me to ever question.
And I know
we did have some nerdy chat with him, didn't we, Jeff?
We did, yeah. and I'm sure in his head he's got more about fugitive and where he feels that it all goes, and but by kind of keeping it semi-vague and just dropping little hints and things, we can
it's more intriguing, isn't it? I think it's more mysterious, gets the chat, it gets people talking about it.
But there's enough there for you to start to form your own views. It's not totally kind of vague on it all.
Yeah.
So Pete, tell us a little bit about doing producing episodes like this and working with the visual effects like you did on the previous two series, and how that all is different to working with Dinosaurs, and
is it different?
Is it easier?
It is completely different. I mean, I started my career, I'm based in Bristol, so I've done a lot of work with the Natural History Unit, and it's all science fact. Dinosaurs, we've got, you always work with experts who understand, they are world leading experts in their field, so you can ask and they will go, I mean, we're science fiction nerds and they are, be, big cat nerds or whatever. They go, oh, well, actually, I think you'll find that the fur doesn't fall that way over the nape of the neck. It would actually do that, and you go, so you work with that as far as visual effects are concerned. With this, I think you get the visual freedom is huge because it's all our imagination.
Yeah.
So locking into Chris's imagination. And the good thing of working across 3 series is you get to know how far you can push things with a showrunner like Chris and with, series producer like Nikki and an exec like Matt. But actually the reality is you could push it as much as you like because that's what they will embrace. So it is visual effects producer on a show like Doctor Who. You've got a massive team and everything's up in the air. It's all open to interpretation. Chris has given you the blueprint. Now it's down to you to run with it and try and give him what he expects you can give him. But with natural history and science factual documentaries, then there are creative boundaries. I was a visual effects producer on a series way back called The Future's Wild, which is where the producers took us 5, 10, 15 million years into the future with regard to how do you think, based on science, how would spiders have evolved? Well, actually, this is where my 2 worlds collided because their version, the scientists said spiders would have grown and they would hunt in packs.
Nice.
Scary thought, isn't it?
Fast forward to an episode of Doctor Who, and we've got, arachnids.
Arachnids in the UK, yeah. Good
bear in
point.
mind I am an arachnophobic, so I'm like this. VFX screenings go, that's great.
Yeah, it looks really real.
And you're like, oh!
They did look real.
Do you know, I showed my kids watched some of Arachnids in the UK a while ago, and they were saying, is that spider that big? Is that real? And they, I always find it really interesting. They've grown up and have no real concept at this age of special effects, and they believe that the spiders were real. And I, which is the point. And I had to reassure him. It's like I watched Avatar with my son, and he said, it's just makeup, isn't it? And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, the blood when they get shot, it's makeup, isn't it? And I said, yeah. And he said, no one's hurt, are they? I said, no.
Not reassure him.
And he said, I said, do you think they're real? Yeah. I said, well, the tall blue guys. Well, yeah, they are, aren't they? I said, no, they're just, and he utterly convinced by them. And I find that
you are when you're a kid, though. I remember watching Planet of the Apes when I was a kid in the 70s, right? And I was sat there watching an episode, the old TV series of it, and I said to my granddad, "When's this finished?" Because I was getting a bit bored of it. And he goes, "It goes on forever." And I actually believed him. And I remember then thinking of it like, well, I could come back to this when I'm 30 and it'd still be going on.
Yeah, but you saying that, I mean, I'm going to paraphrase because I can't remember the exact conversation, but we worked on a VFX produce on an episode of Black Mirror. The Metalhead. I think we might vote for Metalhead. And Mike Bell, who was our VFX producer on Series 11 of Doctor Who, was also VFX supervisor on that. And we went to a cast and crew screening of the Metalhead episode, USS Callister episode. And as we walked through the front door, Charlie Brooker, who again is a genius to work with, was stood at the front and shouted, "Pete, some journalist has just asked me," said he thought, "what a brilliant idea that we used a real robot dog and not one of those rubbish CGI ones." Which Johnny thought was hilarious because obviously it was a full CG.
Creation,
and again, a lot of the team that worked on that were the team that worked, members of the team that worked on this as well.
Yeah. Do you know, there's I just have to bring this in because there's a couple of shots whilst we've been talking there of that massive space station, where the Grand Serpent is on. I mean, the first time I saw that, I'm like, my goodness, this is like James Cameron in a TV show. Do you know what I mean? Because the scope of that, you know, seeing Aliens, that gateway station that they has, it's at least on a par with that sort of stuff. It's just incredible.
That's really cool. I mean, yes, I mean, and also, you know, we sat and watched it. You know, I was working with Dino. You know, we've got like our viewing room is small indoor cinema. You know,
yeah.
You know, we're watching these shots 50 times
on a big screen.
As they go through their work in progress. So when I was producing working with some of my former colleagues at DNEG and Zodiac and elsewhere, I trust them. I know what they're doing, and I trust them in the same way that, you know, Ray Holman and his team are going to come up with Daft and his design team, you know, whoever, Dayan and his sound team. You know, you're going to get what you expect. It's like, you know, for me, I don't often draw this comparison, but it's like, you know, I spent, you know, years in the army before I got into television. I sometimes feel that you haven't got to watch your back because you know that your colleagues and your friends are watching your back as well. Everyone's doing their job, doing it really well, and we're having a laugh.
Yeah. Amongst all the hard work.
That's the same. Like, you know, with the guys that I work with, you know, I know that they'll turn up, be on time, do a good job for me, have their own thoughts and input on it, and really importantly, we'll have a great time doing it all, because it's so important, I think, to be able to be, you know, friends and comfortable in each other's company, and you get a better end result, and particularly when you're dealing with actors as well. And, you know, often I'm filming people who don't go on camera a lot and they don't really want to do it, so you've got to put them at ease and, you know, make it a comfortable process for them.
Talking about actors, how great is Jacob Anderson? You're going the same way I'm going.
He went on to do Interview with the Vampire, didn't he? And there's another series of that coming out soon, I think.
That's a beautiful shot. Did you see that shot there where it disappears at the Mary's eye? I just love that.
That is beautiful, isn't it? I love it. Absolutely love it. I mean, also massive credit to Phil Wood, the DOP that worked with us on this series. I mean, you know, I know Craig and Phil have been working together recently on other series that they wouldn't have had as much fun. But also Craig Ells, you know, I mean, Craig's I mean, did you see Craig's been playing Bob Geldof?
Yeah, he told us about it, didn't he?
Yeah.
But such a lovely guy. I mean, you know, walking in to say hello to Craig, you know, first thing in the morning, and he sat in makeup, being turned into a dog.
To a giant dog, He's brilliant.
What you said just now, Pete, about you know, the effects artists working on, you know, TV and films as well, you know, and then you were watching stuff on the big screen. All of the effects in you know, the last couple of years of Who are easily, you know, film level. And I think we said that, Paul, when we talked about the Vanquishers, you know, the end there with all the Cybermen and the Daleks and stuff there. It's, you know, it's proper film, you know, quality in terms of the scale and the quality of the stuff. And, you know, if I'd gone to watch that in the cinema, you know, it would have just matched up with, you know, anything in a big blockbuster, the quality of it.
Without a doubt. And also, I mean, I think it's that level of expertise across. I mean, I'm just watching. What a lovely lady Barbara Flynn.
Barbara Flynn, yeah.
But you see that the embroidery on her tunic. I mean, you know, members of Ray's team have put that together, and that's just, you know, it's
incredible again, isn't it?
It's all that attention to detail and character that's in the costume there. You know, what was this scene like when it was being filmed? Because it's pretty kind of, you know, powerful between the pair
intense.
of them.
Yeah, it is, but I think it's testimony to both of them, you know, as brilliant actors. I mean, you know, Jodie's brilliant. I mean, you know, I'm a fan. We've spoken about it before. I'm a massive fan of Jodie's talent, and I think she's come so far, and I think she's got such a long way to go. But Jodie acts. I mean, Barbara Flynn. I mean, she's
Legend.
brilliant. I mean, her antecedents. You know, I mean, I remember watching her when I was, and I told her this. You know, when I was watching when she was the milk delivery person on Open All Hours.
Open All Hours, yeah.
You know, and so Jodie acts as brilliantly as she does, and then Barbara comes in, does that, and then Jodie does that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And actually, you know, within half an hour, they are talking to each other as if they're old friends.
Yeah.
Recognise that, because actors recognise that in each other. You know, and certainly when they've come from a combination of both film, television, and theatre.
Yeah.
You know, they're used to just rolling their sleeves up, getting on with it.
Getting on with it.
I love standing beside that. I loved watching both of them.
I bet, I imagine that was electric. This scene here where the Doctor comes out of that bit with Tectan and she snaps at Yaz.
Yeah.
You know, they're both so good in that bit. And then Swarm turns up, and here's, like, for me, the best villain that the show had in years. Like, Sam was just, you know, deliciously evil, and you know he looked great, and the outfits and all the rhinestones and the pointing shoulder bit and his little boots that he's wearing, like raised design on it. It was just
he's good. I mean,
fantastic.
They're both good, aren't they?
Yeah,
they really are. You know, I love Rashenda Sendal. You know, her voice. I mean, both of them together just. They're so glam and so camp and yet so deliciously nasty.
Yeah,
it's brilliant, and just the tone of their voices in what they say is just laden with menace.
Yeah,
and enjoyment. You know, enjoyment in what they're doing.
Enjoying being evil. Yeah. Did you know, Pete, it was last year, or was it the year before, Paul?
Before Jeff. Time flies, mate.
Yeah, I went to film a theatre show in Chichester with a couple of friends of mine. And I didn't realise that Sam Spruill was in it until we got there. And I said to them, "Oh my god, do you know who the lead is?" And they were like, "No." And I showed them a picture of Swarm, and they were like, "I don't know what that is." And I said, "I can't. I'm disgusted that you guys don't watch Doctor Who." And I was in a little room at the back of the theatre setting up because we were live editing it, and then I heard this voice at the door, and I looked up, and I was in my head, "Oh my god, it's Swarm." And he's just popped in to say, "Hello, what are you doing in here?" And, you know, we had a brief chat. And then when they were warming up for the show later, I said, "I just want to tell you that, you know, you were amazing as Swarm. I'm really sorry to interrupt your warm up and everything. I had to tell you." Yeah. But he was great. And we had a nice chat.
Also, I think, you know, another class act is Nadia, who played John's love interest.
Yes, well. yeah, Di, yeah.
I mean, she's
good. Yeah.
Phenomenal as well.
Yeah, she's got you know, she's not in it a lot, but she's got a lot of emotional weight to carry as well, because she spends all that time inside the passenger form, doesn't she? And there's some damage psychologically that goes on. There's some trauma which we don't see, but which we kind of know. For her to play that and almost underplay it, you know, makes it more heartbreaking, I think, in a lot of ways. So it's and it's just in a look of the eye, a gesture, a slight tone of voice, a little hesitation in what she's saying, and it's wonderfully done. All of them, they're just.
Yeah, I mean, those shots in Liverpool on the steps as well. I mean, there is. I mean, John. I mean, Bish gets loads of emotion. You know.
Yeah.
You know, as and I was saying, you know, you could go in any direction with any element of the story. Go, I want to see them together. I want to see that. That could be its own standalone series. You know? But look at this. I mean,
this is a beautiful moment. Yeah. And I think, you know, this episode ends on one of the best shots I've seen in so many TV dramas, sci-fi or contemporary, whatever. You know, it's just beautifully done.
Were they sitting there together, Pete, at the fire, or was Jacob comped in later?
COVID bubbles.
It's the hologram, Jeff.
Yeah. Oh, for real?
They just beamed him in using lasers. He was in
Studio 2 being beamed in.
This is outside. We're outside for this, and
little Tigger.
No, they weren't.
Right.
But yeah,
such nice lighting on that.
So good, and also she's really she's a really talented musician as well. You know,
Is she?
Plays the guitar. Yeah.
Really.
Thaddeus Graham again, isn't it? Look at that shot with the aqua, the viaduct in the in the background.
The lighting. I mean, we were blessed.
Beautiful.
That bit when does Di phone Dan or the other way around in Legend of the Sea Devils?
I think
it's just a little moment, but you know, you get the idea that she's now kind of softened from the
or healed a little bit, perhaps.
Terror of Passenger and everything, and wants to give him another chance because she kind of, you know, they break up, don't they? Or you know, the flirting, you know, is stopped. You know, when they're on the, you know, they meet up again, don't they? And then a bit later on, you get that idea that they might get back together again, or properly, I should say.
Yeah.
No, I mean, this whole thing about Flux, it's such it's a story that is told at a breakneck pace. It just moves. It's so fast. There's so much going on, and yet within that we get some really, really beautiful character moments, some nice little touches of emotion, and it's genuine emotion. It seems almost heightened by the stakes. You know, the whole universe at stake. Everything's going to be destroyed, and just to have these little flashes of humanity within is fabulous.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is with this is the VFX can be brilliant, stories can be brilliant. But it comes down to, I've watched something else recently, completely different.
Yeah.
Big Boys. I don't know if you've seen it on Channel.
All right.
It's a beautifully written comedy. But like with Who, you've got to believe the characters, care for the characters, and like these two, you know, with Bel and Vinder, you want to believe them. And I think that's the whole magic of the show is you invest in those characters.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter how many spaceships there are, how much stuff is blowing up or robots there are. If you don't care about the people in it, that stuff's just pretty, but it's so surface and it doesn't matter at all.
It's true. Yeah. I do love my spaceships though. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I like a good spaceship as well.
Yeah, me too.
Now it's all ramped up. Oh, look at this angel
this
in the
season
TARDIS.
Is just
Fantastic.
dropping banger after banger of a cliffhanger. Leading up to Village of the Angels, which is officially the best Doctor Who cliffhanger of all time. When Jodie turns into
so
a weeping
you say,
angel.
Jeff, we need to fight about that one, mate. It's a great cliffhanger, but you know, nothing beats the War Games from 1969 when we find out the Doctor's an exile from the Time Lords, you know, and all that.
Yeah, that would have been
it's
a
fabulous.
shocker.
I mean, I'm going to ask you. I was about to ask you a question, but then I realised that I know the answer. You've seen The Creator, right?
Yes, I have. I have watched that. Yeah.
I mean, again, what a brilliant. What a brilliant movie, and also Gareth Edwards, who directed that. Obviously, approach to visual effects was like, no, let's shoot the scene we want, and then we'll do the VFX afterwards. Where a lot of VFX is planned. So you can put your green screen in place, or you can get whatever. But Gareth worked at a visual effects company in Bristol, and we did that. So I left. So it's a big regret of mine. I'd love to spend some time talking to him because I would say The Creator is one of my favourite films of the last.
It's really
5 years.
Really good. Yeah, I love it a lot. I think it's fantastic. You know, again, so much humanity.
Yeah.
Brilliantly realised technology and everything. It's credible, but the humanity of it, the heart and soul of that story is what carries you through. It's fabulous.
And it's the emotion. I mean, and again, the reason I reference that is because you believe in the character.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
I won't give anything away for anyone who hasn't seen it, but the young child. I mean, wow. I mean, that's heart-wrenching.
I know. Yeah. It is. I just, Jeff will tell you I don't get emotionally invested very much in any film, let alone sci-fi films. But, you know, that one did have a little reaction going on here. You know, there's something about
thawing
it.
of his iced heart.
Yeah. See, Alita. Yeah, and
he watched Alita.
So.
I love that one.
There you go. You're ganging up on me now.
Yeah.
I loved it. I don't think it had. I think that Creator was still the emotional was just a little bit higher. And I watched as a complete contrast. I watched Atlas. Last week, and it's just nonsense, but it's fun. It's fun. Switch your head off.
Yeah.
Which sometimes is all
there's
it
a lot
needs
to be
to
said
be.
for that, to be honest.
Yeah. You know, as long as you enjoy it, you know, I can, I can deal with nonsense.
Yeah.
As long as I have a good time with it, you know, and like we were saying earlier, like there's got to be some, you know, character stuff, you know, for something to really become invested in, you know, for me. But that doesn't mean to say, you know, hypocritically maybe, you know, something that's just kind of, you know, surface sheen and fun isn't enjoyable as well. You know?
Yeah, exactly. So lots of good stuff to watch. I enjoyed watching that, fellas.
I was going to say,
watch another one.
we should. We've done a couple of these guest commentaries. We had Joe Ford, who's quite a well-known Doctor Who podcaster, and we're chatting with Al Dewar, who's in charge of the figure range, action figure range, and we're going to hopefully get him on soon as well. So yeah, we should do another one of your other ones, or one of the
definitely. Come on,
bigger
Pete.
effects heavy episode.
I'd be up
you
for
know,
that.
series
Fantastic.
11.
Yeah. So you quite enjoyed it after having watched it, not having watched it for quite a long time. Then did it kind of remembered quite a fair bit? You said you were triggered.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I did. I mean, but I remember obviously being excited about the story. I mean, I remember being excited, and who wouldn't, about working on Doctor Who. But as importantly, I remember hanging out with my friends.
Yeah.
You know, and those cold nights on the steps in Liverpool. You know, like Mandip rocks up with I've told you this story before, of like boxes of cakes for the crew. I mean, you know, it's lovely. You know, it says a lot about the spirit of the team that Nikki and Matt and Chris put together, and I will be forever grateful for that. And I've got friends now that I wouldn't have had if it wasn't for that experience. So the fact that we made something that we're all proud of is an added bonus. But it's good to see. So who was the director again? As
Salim, wasn't it?
It's just
somebody,
a one-off or something.
I think he might do all right in the future.
I think he might be right. Yeah,
he's
apparently he used to do cowboy films in his bedroom or something.
Yeah, something with a robot, maybe.
I'm gonna watch that.
I'm just going to try to lift up my laptop here, Pete, because I just want to show you something. If you can see, above
top of your head, mate.
Can you not see it?
A light
on the on my here.
Oh, the film festival.
Yeah, it's a painting that some bloke did of Jodie, Mandip, and John.
Oh no, I can't see that one.
I can't see that.
In big and my image.
No, you have to
expand.
I'll tell you what it is, Jeff. It's because we're trying to get it's the software. Get it in the middle of your screen.
Oh no, I've got it. Oh, I see. I've expanded
there you go.
Oh, mate, thank you so much for putting that there.
Thank you. So everyone comes in, they go,
there it is.
That's John Bishop up there, isn't it? And then I get to tell them all about it. So.
Oh, mate, thank you so much for putting that in a frame and putting it on your office. That's superb.
No, thank you. So that was a lovely gift.
Oh, thank you, mate. That's really good.
So we've got a few films to watch for the film festival, haven't we?
If the quality is as good as it was last year, I am so looking forward to it.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I meant to get on with it over half term, but my kids were poorly and usual, so I didn't get started.
Right now?
Yeah, they're fine, thank you. They just had fevers and stuff. It always seems to happen, you know. They get to the end of term, and then I think they're knackered, and they just kind of, and do that. So
I get that most days, to be honest.
Yeah, you do.
I remember my first hangover as well, if I'm honest.
Brilliant.
Well, Pete, thank you so much for doing this. This has been great,
thanks,
and we'll see if we can do it again soon. But I'll be in touch anyway about the film festival. We'll both see you in August, hopefully, for the screenings and the awards night.
I can't wait for it.
That'd be great. Looking forward to that. So, what have you got to do for the rest of the day? You got more meetings on, or
Dinosaurs?
Dinosaurs everywhere.
More dinosaurs. Dinosaurs.
I can tell you no more than that, other than it involves walking with them. Yeah. So no, just a usual busy day. So very much looking forward to it. So
great.
So yeah, it's good. But look, thank you so much for inviting us on again. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Continued success with the podcast, and also while I'm there, just so you know.
Oh, there it is.
Lovely. C2C badge, fantastic.
Means a lot. Genuinely means a lot.
Oh,
fantastic.
Yeah, let's talk again soon.
Brilliant. Have a good day, and we'll speak to you soon.
You too,
Brilliant.
fellas.
All right,
Thanks,
thanks
Pete.
friend.
All the very best,
Bye.
sir. Take care.
Bye.